and seen. Right. Anyway, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another one on the channel here. All right, so I've tried to shoot this video like 4 or 5 times now, and I can't get it right. So I got some help. She's tired. Today we're going to be doing the TDC Relearn on your 94 and up 6.5 with the DS4 injection pump. Recently I did the injection pump on a 95 6.5, and I was going to cover that in a video, but the timeline didn't work out. And to be completely honest with you, the thing pissed me off. We did get it. That's all that matters, but it just... yeah, I mean, I'm okay with showing the raw me on camera, but at the same time, I'm not that raw. So anyway, to jump into this thing real quick, 2 things to know. See, this is why I had to redo this so many times. When you go to put line... So like when we installed the pump on the truck, and like when we did the Cummins, the VP44, there's on the 6.5 there's this dowel here, and on the Cummins there's actually a keyway. Well, what you want to do is you want to line this dowel up, put it in the same orientation as the old pump after you remove it, because in the injection pump timing gear there's a pin that this has to go through. And that's what helps drive it. There's also a specific bolt pattern, as you can see. So you want to get that lined up. Once you get it in, before you hook up any injection lines, you see that little notch right there? That's a timing mark. And then there's a timing mark right here. Now, generally, there's another one here, but this pump has been modified. Chris Stratton actually built that pump, so... it was calibrated a certain way. So generally on a stock pump, there will be two lines there on the injection pump flange. And what I do is I try to line up that timing mark in the middle of both of these. I know at least I can get the truck to start with that. And then once you do that, you hook your scanner up, and we're going to look at actual injection timing, which you want 3.5 degrees. And in order to do that, we have to perform what's called a static time on the injection pump. Now I'm going to set up my little model here. Do you want to take this? So on the back here, on this right here, you can see that there's 3 studs that this sits on. And on the face of the pump here, you can see how these are oblonged. This is so that way we can rotate the pump either towards the driver's side or the passenger side. And that's what allows us to either advance or retard the timing. Static timing, I mean. So again, this is what we have to work with. I don't have a truck with me, so we're just gonna make some stuff happen here. So, and again, to touch on that little pin from earlier. Oops, wrong way. When this sits inside of when you're installing this, see, it's easy to get the incorrect orientation on there. But when now the front of the timing cover would be on, and the hole is about right here for the oil fill tube, and that's how you remove these 3 bolts right here. So that's why that orientation is so important. If you want to come over to this side, so again, when we static time, we can see we have this room here where we can rotate the pump to and from, and that's how we will static time it. Now, in order to do that, to see what our static time is, or our actual injection pump timing, we have to have the scanner on it. which most people will use a Tech 2. Leroy has a software. I don't really, not a big fan of it. It's what I used, and it caused me more headache than anything. But anyway, so that's what we want. So once you, again, I set it in the middle. You get the truck all assembled, try to start it up. Once you can get it to start, you want to check what your actual injection pump timing is, and we want it to be at 3.5 degrees. Now, if it starts and you have to keep your foot in it, otherwise it dies, you're going to either have to adjust. You're going to have to adjust. But at that point, you will have to advance the truck. So you're going to have to move it ever so slightly towards the driver's side. So when I say slightly, 1 millimeter movement is about 2 degrees of timing. So try to keep that in mind when you're doing this. So when you can get the truck to idle halfway decent, or you can get it static time to 3.5 degrees, then we're going to start the TDC process. Now again, I'm talking as we're doing this with a Tech 2, so other softwares might be a little bit different. I've got some notes here because I kept stumbling on myself the last time. So the most important thing when you're doing this is the truck needs to be at operating temperature. Even in the summertime when I'm doing this, I will plug the truck in as I'm reassembling, because generally when I get done assembling it, I'm firing it up. This way my readings are more accurate, and it's also less hell on the truck. Things can go astray if the timing is off. A lot of people tend to feel the need to floor their vehicle when it's not running right, because obviously flooring it fixes it. I had a neighbor that does it. Really proud of him. So anyway, what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are static timed at 3.5 degrees. This thing's killing me. All right, we got to make sure, stop smiling. It's not funny. We got to make sure that we're at 3.5 degrees. We want to see an engine coolant temperature of 170 degrees. We want to go in and clear the DTCs, the trouble codes, the service engine tune light. We want to clear those before we do this process. You may get you're probably going to have a TDC Relearn failure, and you're probably going to get a response time too long or too short. Those little guys are probably going to hang out. There's really not a whole lot you can do to get rid of those until you do the process properly. But anything else, you want to clear that. So once you get it set, what we're going to do is, again, make sure that it's at the temperature that it needs to be. We want our TDC offset to be anywhere from 0.25 to 0.75 degrees of offset. So DTCs are cleared. What you want to do is turn your ignition. Again, this is with the Tech 2. Turn the ignition switch to on. Do not start the vehicle. You're going to want to hold the accelerator pedal at wide open throttle for every ounce of 45 seconds. I get a timer out just to make sure that it's correct. It doesn't hurt to go over. Once you do that, let off of it, turn the key off for 30 seconds. Again, get a timer out and do it for just a couple seconds longer. You can't hurt it. Obviously, don't wait 10 minutes. Once that 30 seconds allows the ECM to properly power down. Once you do that, then you can turn the truck back on, you can fire it up, and it will actually reset the TDC offset. And you'll be able to check the values as the truck is running. I've had it where I've nailed it on the first try, and the truck runs rough, and you can actually hear a hiccup, and then it smooths right out because your TDC gets within tolerance. I've also had to do it several times because your injection timing on the scanner will fluctuate. It won't sit at a constant 3.5. You want it to be at an average of 3.5 because it does fluctuate around. Once you get that TDC offset between negative 0.25 and a positive 0.75, you're golden. You know, as long as engine coolant temperature is where it needs to be, that's at 3.5 degrees. Actual injection timing, we talked about static timing it, and you're good to go. And honestly, that's it. There's really no more to it than that. It can be a very intimidating process. It can be a very, very frustrating process. These engines clatter, rattle, and roll as it is. So when they're out of timing, or it's, you know, one extreme or the other, they sound even worse. So it can, you know, it can get to you. I mean, I've been guilty of prancing around here, anxious as trying to hurry up and move stuff because the sound of it scares the shit out of me. But that's it. That is literally it. That is all that there is to it. You guys follow that, and you'll be solid. That's pretty much it. That's all that I got for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So, if you guys can't see my breath, it's cold out. I had the heat on for a little bit, but it's cold. But anyway, if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, you can either DM me through my Instagram. I will leave that down below. It's at Rubber Ducky Diesel. Or leave a comment down below. What English sounds normal to me doesn't sound normal to everybody else, so I'll be happy to. Yeah, I'm guilty of it. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Thumbs up would be a huge one. You know, lets me know that I'm doing a good job. But again, guys, you know, feel free to interact. If there's something else I can hit on, I'll gladly do it. But anyway, till the next time, be good. We'll see you on the next one.